All right, let's talk about the periodic table. I know, you might be having flashbacks to high school chemistry, but I want you to just forget about that boring chart on the wall for a minute. Instead, let's think of it as a guide to a cast of characters, a story with over 100 elemental personalities, each with its own quirks and alliances. And we're going to start with the main character. So, to get to know this cast, we've got to start at the beginning, right? Element number one. But here's the twist. What if the very first element is also the biggest oddball of them all? Meet hydrogen. It's number one, the lightest, the simplest, the most abundant element in the entire universe. I mean, it's just one proton and one electron. But that incredible simplicity is exactly what makes it such a weirdo, such an outsider. You can see how it just kind of sits there, all by itself. Yeah, technically we place it in group one, but let's be honest, it doesn't really fit into any single family. And this is where you really see a hydrogen's double life. Sometimes it acts just like one of the alkali metals, giving away its only electron to get a positive charge. But then it can completely flip the script and act like a halogen, either by pairing up with another hydrogen atom or by just grabbing an electron from someone else. It's a true chemical chameleon. This really makes hydrogen the ultimate versatile actor on the elemental stage. Seriously. Depending on what other elements are around, it can play completely different roles. One moment, it's the generous hero, giving away its electron like an alkali metal. The next, it's the electron-stealing villain, just like a halogen. So if hydrogen is the lone wolf, what do the established neighborhoods look like? Let's take a quick tour of the families that hydrogen is always trying to copy. First up, Group 1, the alkali metals. I like to call these the givers because they are the most generous elements on the whole table. They are just desperate to give away that one single outer electron to become stable, and that desperation, well, it makes them incredibly reactive. And when I say reactive, I'm not kidding. These metals are so soft you could literally cut them with a butter knife. They're so light that some of them can float on water, for a second, right before they react explosively with it. They're so eager to react with air and moisture that you have to store them under oil just to keep them calm. Definitely not the kind of element you just leave sitting out. Okay, now let's jump all the way over to the other side of the table and meet their polar opposite. Group 17, the halogens. If the alkali metals are the givers, these guys are without a doubt the takers. They are just one electron short of a full, stable shell, and believe me, they will do almost anything to grab that missing electron. This intense need for an electron makes them what we call highly electronegative. It just means they have a powerful pull. So when a giver, like sodium, meets a taker, like chlorine, you get the perfect chemical love story. Sodium is happy to give its electron away, chlorine is thrilled to take it, and they form that incredibly stable partnership we all know as table salt. They literally complete each other. And after all that drama, all the giving and taking, we finally arrive at our last neighborhood, Group 18. The noble gases. These are the aristocrats of the periodic table. They're perfectly content, a little aloof, and completely unbothered by all the chaos happening around them. So what makes them so aloof? Well, it all comes down to their electron shells. They're completely full. They have everything they need, so they have zero desire to gain, lose, or share electrons with the more dramatic elements. This chemical inertness is incredibly useful, though. It makes them perfect for creating protective atmospheres, like the argon that's used in welding to shield hot metal from reacting with the air. Okay, so we've met the dramatic characters out on the fringes of the table. But what about the heartland? Let's turn our attention right to the center, the D block, home of the transition metals. And trust me, these elements are not just filler. They are the true power players of the elemental world. So, what are their superpowers? Their main trick is having variable oxidation states. Now that sounds fancy, but it just means an element like iron isn't stuck with one charge. It can be iron 2+ or iron 3+, depending on the situation. This flexibility is the key to everything. It allows them to form complex, intricate structures, act as powerful catalysts to speed up reactions, and as a really cool side effect, create a whole palette of brightly colored compounds. Ever seen that vibrant blue of copper sulfate? Yup. That's a transition metal just showing off. But these properties aren't just interesting in a lab. They make the transition metals the absolute workhorses of our world. This is where abstract chemistry connects directly to our everyday lives. Just look at what one single element can do. Iron. As a catalyst, it's essential for a process that creates fertilizer, which literally feeds billions of people. As a material, it forms steel, the backbone of our entire modern world. And on a personal level, the iron in your hemoglobin is carrying oxygen through your body as you're listening to this. From agriculture to architecture to your own anatomy, these elements are truly everywhere. It really helps to think of the periodic table as an orchestra. If the alkali metals are the explosive percussion and the halogens are the sharp, piercing brass section, then the D-block elements are the versatile multi-instrumentalists who can play any part. Their flexibility lets them participate in almost every industrial and biological performance, making them totally indispensable. So, in the end, the periodic table is so much more than a grid of boxes. It's a story of creation, a guide to the personalities that build our universe. And it's a story that isn't finished yet. As we discover or create new, heavier elements, it really makes you wonder, what new character with what strange new properties is just waiting in the wings to play its part?